Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Women's Sports Matter podcast. My name is Gianna Castro, and I'm your host. Before we begin today, I would just like to say happy holidays to everyone, whatever you celebrate, whether it's Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa. If you don't celebrate anything at all, happy holidays. Hope that everyone's having a good December. Hope everyone is staying safe. I would just like to say that next week I will be taking a week off. So that Tuesday, I have no idea what day that is. Let's look really quick. The 22nd and the 24th. We will have episodes on the 28th and 31st, though. Just taking off for Christmas week. It's my first week off of school. I'm very excited. My semester ends on Friday. So happy. No more school until January 25th. Today we are going to be talking about the athletics, what is it called here? The best sports moments of 2020. Except the Athletic got it all wrong. So, before we get started, we're going to hit a commercial break. We're going to hear about today's sponsor, Anchor. And if you are on YouTube, of course, you get no ads. And if you are on Anchor, Spotify, Apple, whatever you listen to your podcasts on, you will get to hear my wonderful, beautiful voice talk about today's sponsor, Anchor, which I am using to record this podcast. Make sure you subscribe, stuff like that. So without further ado, I'm going to take you to commercial, and we'll be right back. So stick around for today's episode about the best sports moments in 2020 and how Athletic should have done better. See, the favorite thing about listening back to the commercials is wondering what I can do better. And I think I will never get it right. That's okay. That's just fine. So let's talk about... I'm looking at the bracket. Okay. So the Athletic has... what do we call it? Not a table. It has like a... Why am I confused? What is this called? Bracket style stuff to see what the best sports moment is in 2020. And this is what the Athletic has on Twitter. It says, there has been no year in sports like 2020. Over the next few weeks, we'll look back at the biggest moments. To start things off, let's vote on the best and brightest sports moment of the year. And let's talk about statistics for a second. 39 retweets. 424 quote tweets. 156 likes. Actually, it looks like it's gone up. 273 comments. 463 retweets. It's a bad thing when you have more retweets than likes and more comments than likes. I don't know who put this list together, but you guys are clearly not thinking straight. Obviously, there's a few good things here. I'm just going to go down the list from left to right, and I will say what moments I believe that should be on here, and then I will add in my own as well. So first off, we have The Last Dance. When I think of best sports moment, I think of something that is happening right now in the world of sports. Not necessarily a movie, TV show, book, some sort of production. That is dumb. Next up, we have Phillips walk-off. I believe I will have to look that up. Oh, Brett Phillips. Yeah. Brett Phillips walk-off in Game 4 of the World Series for the Tampa Bay Rays. I do believe that one should be on there, not The Last Dance. Next we have Tom Brady to Tampa Bay. That is a big moment. I am not personally a Tom Brady fan, but I will give it to them for that. Next up, we have the first female GM, we have the first woman GM in Major League Baseball for the Miami Marlins. That is the only representation for women in this whole entire bracket. And that is sad. It's very sad. That obviously belongs on there, of course. The Dodgers winning the World Series. That is pretty epic. They have lost out on it for the past 4 years. So, 3, maybe. That deserves to be on there. Next, we have Zion's NBA debut. Hot take. Zion Williamson is so overrated. And I can't believe that he was nominated for Rookie of the Year when he barely played any of the season. Like, what? It doesn't make any sense. That should not be on the list. Moving on. Naomi Osaka, U.S. Open. Oh, I misspoke. 2 women on here. My apologies. The NBA bubble. If you're watching this, you can see that I'm giving a thumbs down. And if you're listening on your phone, I'm giving a thumbs down. Here's the deal. The NWSL was the first major league sports organization or professional sports league, whatever you want to call it, to have a bubble-styled tournament to begin playing again. And this happened in the summer. When was it? Like May, June, July. So to include the NBA bubble on here is a disregard to the first group that did it. So that is also disrespectful. That should be the NWSL bubble, hands down. Next we have the Lakers title win. I think that should be included. Obviously, they haven't won in a while. They did for Kobe. Not a Lakers fan. I'm a Celtics fan, actually. But I will respect the fact that they did wear jerseys for Kobe and stuff like that. So I will give that to them. Next, we have Alexander. Oh, how do you say his name? Ovechkin's 700th goal. I am not a hockey fan. I don't watch the Capitals. But that is a pretty astonishing achievement, so I'd say that belongs on here. Here's my favorite one of this whole thing. We have Alex Smith's football return. I think it's pretty astonishing how he came back. I don't watch football, but I did watch a few games of his when he was playing with the Kansas City Chiefs, and then when he went to Washington's football team. His leg got broken. I don't know exactly what happened. But he suffered a pretty bad injury. And it's cool to see that he's able to return. Obviously, he's injured again right now. But it's like a minor thing. But I think that's pretty cool. And honestly, it's better than anything else on here to be able to come back from that. Next up, we have Liverpool winning the Premier League. I am a Chelsea fan. I've said this before. I'm a Chelsea fan. Liverpool hasn't won in a while. Being like Man City, Chelsea, Man United, Arsenal, stuff like that. I'm gonna give it to them. I feel like instead of that, maybe putting Bayern Munich as the winner of the Champions League, or like something about Robert Lewandowski, because what he did this year was very, very cool. Scored in like every Champions League game that he played in. I feel like Bayern Munich or Robert Lewandowski, something along the lines of that, should have been there instead of Liverpool. That's just me. Next, we have the Kansas City Chiefs winning the Super Bowl. I did watch that game. I only watched it so I could see the halftime show, but I watched it. I was rooting for the 49ers because Jimmy Garoppolo is from Illinois. It's kind of disappointing, but like Patrick Mahomes deserves it, obviously. I'll keep that there. Tampa Bay Lightning winning the Stanley Cup is next. I don't watch hockey. I was kind of hoping the Dallas Stars would win, only because they haven't won it in a while. But, like, for the Lightning to win. But I feel like something else could have gone there. Maybe, like, the Suns going 8-0. Or even the Seattle Storm winning. Here's what we're putting there. Seattle Storm, something along the lines there, winning the championship. Super getting her third ring. Brianna Stewart, Finals MVP, or even Asia Wilson becoming MVP of the league. Next up, we have Joe Kelly versus the Astros. That was fire. That belongs there. 100%. And I'm going to tell you why. That man is a legend right there for making the face and stuff. It's so cool that he has his own mural in LA and everything like that. I think that's very cool and very funny. And if you're an Astros fan, sorry, I don't make the rules. Moving on, we have LSU perfect 15-0. They're talking about football, right? Is that when they won the championship? Is that when they won the championship? LSU perfect 15-0. 2019 LSU football team. They really put a college team on here. Well, okay, they did beat Clemson's unbeaten streak. They did win the college football championship. I'll give it to them. Obviously, this is lacking a lot of representation. But what do we expect? Obviously, the NWSL and WNBA belong on here for the things they've done. I feel like instead of The Last Dance talking about the walkout, strike, whatever you want to call it, that a lot of different sports leagues did after the shooting of the guy from Kenosha, that would have been a lot better. The lack of representation is what's bothering me here. Because, again, it's the lack of media coverage. I follow a bunch of athletic writers on Twitter. Ken Rosenthal, for example. I love me some Kenny. Ken Rosenthal is a great writer. I follow a bunch of NWSL writers, too, that write for The Athletic. And this is such a shame. The thing that bothers me the most when it comes to sports events that have happened this year is not recognizing that the NWSL was the first professional league in the United States to have a bubble format. The NBA did not do it first. I'm just kind of mad that we still have to keep discussing media representation. And a lot of people are bad. Let's read some quoted retweets. Athletes Unlimited said we can think of a few moments that belong on this list. Oh yeah, the softball league absolutely killed it this year. I know exactly what that is. That is the softball league. I'm just reading the trending stuff on Twitter. Something about James Harden. James Harden is such a baby. I'll never be a James Harden fan. That's just my take. Someone said unacceptable that at the very least at NWSL and at WNBA don't have representation in this bracket. That's from at Ian Troost. I agree. Rachel Daly. Probably Houston Dash winning the Challenge Cup, but I guess that doesn't count. Yeah, that should be on here too. Maybe instead of the Lightning winning, like they should be on there. From at, I'm not saying his at, because it's, no. It's very interesting to see the outrage on this because a lot of it is from mainstream people who otherwise do not give up about women's sports except from the performative aspect of caring about it to seem woke. NWSL and WNBA could be mainstream media and what is the word? It could be covered more if the media put it out there for people to watch. If you put women's sports on TV, people will watch. If you look at the statistics from this year, that is what happened. WNBA and NWSL viewership went up. NFL, MLB, NBA, NHL all went down. Those were the two leagues that had positive growth. So, yeah. And following these leagues doesn't make you woke, it just makes you a sports fan. Moving on. Chris Williamson says, where are the women's sports? I agree. Someone said Kelly versus the Astros wasn't even one of the biggest, best, or brightest moments that week. This is dumb. I agree the bracket is dumb, but I'm a fan of that moment. As someone that likes the White Sox and the Dodgers, yeah. Someone says, where's Oscar Lindblom returning from cancer in here? I don't know who that is. NWSL offseason edition memes put up the final from July 17th of Portland beating unbeaten North Carolina. Courage. Awesome. Angel City says TVH Houston Dash's Challenge Cup Championship definitely deserves to be on here, just saying. I agree. NWSL vote said, who votes we make a list of our own? I replied to that, by the way, and with a yes thing. Bethany Balker had some words. She said, a few words to describe how I feel about this. Pissed, underappreciated, tired. Congrats, men, for once again being better and brighter than us. Let's break that down. I agree a lot with her. It's a shame that people don't consider women's sports leagues professional. Again, what I said in my last episode about local media coverage, you only see them talking about the men's teams, unless, obviously, they do talk about your teams. But it's very rare and inconsistent, and that needs to change. So, that's what I have to say about that. I like reading these tweets, though. This can't keep happening. The Wubble was a major sports moment in 2020. The Wubble did happen before the NBA, although the NWSL did it first, and I just want to keep reminding people that. Someone said woman would like a word. I agree. That's funny. Dr. Lindsay Darvin said instead of voting for any of these, write in your vote for the entire WNBA for their work shifting public perception / awareness towards racial and social injustices. That's the power of sport. That's worth celebrating. Stop forgetting what women athletes do for society. The best thing that happened this season with the WNBA wasn't necessarily what was happening in the bubble. Like, let me finish my point though. People took the time off to work towards things that were happening in their community that they wanted to help out with, social and racial justice. And also what the WNBA did, for example, striking the Washington, what is their name? I want to say Washington Spirit. That is the wrong women's sports team. Mystics. Washington Mystics all wore shirts for Jacob Blake, who was shot so many times in the back. They walked out in white shirts. They wrote on the shirts. They cut out holes and put paint on it or whatever. That was a major moment. And when all the teams came together that night for like a candlelight visual or something like that was really cool. Also, raising awareness about the Georgia elections as well was a key moment, especially for Atlanta Dream players who are pissed off that their owner doesn't support them. Vote Warnock and Ossoff, Georgia. Seriously. Purdue and Loeffler don't know what they're doing, and it's scary. Moving on. David Berry has something to say. Women are about 45% of all athletes. Women are about 45% of all sports fans. But for men, the best sports moments have 0 professional women's teams and 0 women's college teams. Just 2 individual women mentioned. Men are 90% of the sports media, hence this result. Another thing that I forgot to talk about is Sabrina Ionescu getting 2,000 points, 1,000 rebounds, and 1,000 assists. Where is the mention of that? Like, I don't understand how that isn't on here either, because that was very important too. Oh my god. Athletic, you messed up big time. Someone's podcast, I'll shout out this podcast. Stacey Abrams for Con Smith, a hockey podcast. Apparently, The Athletic is unaware that women's sports teams exist. Or women's team sports exist. I agree. Do better next time. A lot of these are, Lindsay Gibbs said, did a documentary really make it on here above women's sports? Yes, it did, unfortunately, and that's a shame. Someone said the best male sports moments of 2020. That is very true. Someone said some of your choices are weak, do better. Yeah. I just can't believe that they just didn't add. I see my own tweet on here and it has 0 likes, retweets, whatever. With everyone else's on like tweets and stuff. I said, new episode of How Bad This Thing Is tomorrow at 10 a.m. Central Time. That's true. All my episodes are out Tuesdays and Thursdays at 10 a.m. Central Time, which is Illinois time. If you are outside of the United States, I don't know what to tell you, because I don't know what your time zone is. Oh, that is so true. Kaylee Logan says, NWSL First American Sport Pro League back WNBA fight against social injustice. Christine Sinclair has scored more international goals than anyone ever. That is also important. I forgot about that. Yes, Christine Sinclair beat out Abby Wambach for the most international goals scored this year. That deserves to be on here, maybe more than Joe Kelly. So many sports moments that we're all coming up with. I hope the NWSL made their own bracket, because I would like to take a look-sees. Someone said that cricket and F1 should have gotten a nod. Maybe something about Lewis Hamilton, I guess, but I don't really follow that. When you're creating stuff like this, you're making a choice. You're deciding to tell the part of your audience that values men over women that they are right to do so. Very true. Sarah Fuller. So true. See, Athletic, you did this, and you should have deleted it. Who approved this? Please tell me. Sarah Fuller should be on here. Christine Sinclair. Sabrina Ionescu. Houston Dash. WNBA players. The list goes on and on. I'll make my own frickin' bracket if I have to. This is embarrassing. Frickin' insane. For $1, name a woman. That. If you watched Billy on the Street, you would know this reference. If you don't, you go watch Billy on the Street. Someone said it's the misogyny for me. Oh, here's a nice tweet. You ask me, I think it would have been Sabrina becoming the first D1 player with 2K, 1K, 1K, or even the NWSL completing the first bubble successfully, or the WNBA being leaders in the social justice fight. But I guess these work too. Not really. These don't work. Yeah. Looking at these. Someone said that LA wins. They did their own bracket. Okay, this is bad. I don't have an athletics subscription. I did have one so I could use it for a project, so I could cite and read an article about how the Astros cheated. But yeah, I've had enough of this. This is really bad. My camera disappeared. Hello there. That's gonna be it from me. Looks like I'll be making my own bracket and posting on Twitter. Again, if you are not aware that I have a Twitter, it's at WSM Podcast. Follow me. 34 followers strong. If you liked listening to me talk about how men are terrible and women's sports matter, get it, the name of the podcast, you can subscribe. Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Bullhorn apparently is popular with some users, according to my statistics. Just subscribe, please. Lets me know that I got some listeners out there. If you're on Apple Podcasts, rate my podcast too. That would be nice. If you want more content, if you want to see me like in person recording this, subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is the name of this podcast, but I'll let you know anyway. It's Women's Sports Matter Podcast on YouTube, which is linked below. Let's see, what else should you do? You should tweet me. I get a little lonely. I have an Instagram now. My Instagram ad is Women's Sports Matter. 13 followers strong. See, we're getting there. If you have an Instagram, follow me. Women's Sports Matter. I post when I have an episode, and I'm going to start posting other stuff too. I got 3 posts. 13 followers strong. But it's not about the followers. It's about doing what makes me happy, and that's making this podcast, of course. If you're in Georgia, you know you can start voting. Early voting started. And election day is January 5th. So, I'm going to keep hitting to you. Ossoff, Warnock, 2020. Awesome. So, that's going to be it from me. Kind of tired. I have some stuff to do for school apps, things like that. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of the Women's Sports Matter podcast. I am your host, Gianna Belcastro. Make sure that you wear a mask, wash your hands, and social distance when you can. Even though the vaccine is coming out, normal people like us probably won't be able to get it until June, so I can't wait to get a shot for my birthday. I hate needles so much, but it's gonna be worth it to get this shot twice. Just so Corona can go bye-bye, and I can actually go to school. I can go to college, live in a dorm, go to an actual class. Stuff like that. That sounds fun. Can't wait to live life like a college person. Anyway, that's not important. I keep going off topic for no reason. So, that's it with me. I hope everyone has a nice Christmas. Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever the hell you celebrate, because I don't care. Celebrate what you want. Just don't be non-inclusive. Okay? Okay. How many times am I going to repeat the name or my podcast name? Anyway, my name is Gianna Belcastro for the millionth time. This is the Women's Sports Matters podcast. Thank you so much for listening. I will see you back 2 weeks from now. And hey, you know how I always end my podcast. Guys, it's simple. How do you not know this? Let me tell you. Are you ready? That's all, folks. See ya.